listen. Do you hear it? Do you hear the sound of God's voice speaking in your lives? Listen. Do you hear God speaking to you today? Listen, because God is speaking to you today to be in this time, in this place, to accomplish this work. God has not called us in vain. God has called us to spread the glory of God from one end of the earth to the other. After Jesus was baptized and went into the wilderness for 40 days, he began his ministry. And one of the very first things he did, he was walking along a beach, and he saw these two guys. Hey, you guys. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come. Follow me. I will teach you how to fish for people. Hearing this, they dropped their nets and they jumped out of their boats and they followed Jesus. Perhaps they were poor men. They didn't leave anybody behind in the boats. Who knows what kind of financial difficulties they were having or their family was having? We don't know. But a little further down along the beach, there were two more men with their father and a bunch of hired hands in their boat. Obviously a larger boat. They were mending nets also. And Jesus called out to them, "Hey, you guys, James, John, come, follow me. I want your skill, and I want to teach you how to fish for people." And they left their father and the hired hands, and they followed Jesus. See, Jesus didn't call them for their own reasons. He didn't say, "Hey, I can help you feel better about yourself. I can help you in your life to just be a better person. Come and follow me." Jesus said, "No, I will teach you something." The translation here, "I will make you fish for people," that doesn't really get at what the Greek is trying to tell us. It's the same word that Genesis, the book of Genesis, comes from in the Greek, genesis. It's, I will begin something in you. Begin something in you that will cause you to do this work, fishing for people. Were these guys especially great fishermen? I don't know. Were they especially talented at mending nets? I don't know. I don't know why God called these guys. I have no idea why. But God said, there's something I could use there. Come, follow me. I need that. I need that to spread God's glory throughout the world. I'm going to teach you how to spread God's glory to all people. One thing that I think this passage can teach us is that God can even use underdogs. Underdogs, people who have no business being there in the first place. God can use them for God's purpose. Okay, yeah, I let it out. Okay, this isn't going to be an Eagle sermon. We'll wait in 2 weeks for the Super Bowl for that. No, I was amazed this season with this transformation that I've seen in this team, and it falls along with the same themes that I see here in this scripture. That here's a group of people different backgrounds, different families. They come from different places, yet they come together for one common purpose. And I loved hearing stories like before the Carolina game, how they all got together in the hotel swimming pool, and they baptized Marcus Johnson. How cool is that? And it made the news. Here's this group of men living by Christian ideals in a sport, in a world that would say, no, that has no place here. They said, no, this is who we are. Now, this is the root of who we are, our faith. And they witness to that faith, not as overtly, not as loud, not as big and boisterous as other people we've seen. They've done it in subtle ways where people could maybe relate and identify with it. That, sometimes it's a quiet faith that we have, yet inside of us, the change that it works, the transformation, the miracle of what happens within us when we approach relationship with God is so big that we just want to share it with the world. It causes them to rally around each other in one common purpose, and it's not about even whether they win or lose, but believe it or not, it's how they play the game. It's wanting to live the best that they can. Whether we agree with certain decisions or not, whether we agree with this, that, or the other thing, that's not the point. The point is that we have Christians witnessing in the news right now. Not to say, you all people are wrong, you need to think this way, or you can't vote like this, you have to vote that way. They're not saying that. What they're saying is, I'm going to live as a Christian. Right now, it seems like we hear it every now and then in the news about this war on Christians, that we hear that people feel really persecuted for their Christian beliefs. Tell you the truth, I don't even know how I feel about that. But what I do know is that there's a different kind of war that we're fighting. There's a different kind of war we're fighting. We're fighting a war on apathy. We're fighting a war on apathy in people's relationship with God. That the world, it seems like, doesn't even care anymore that there is a creator God. Since the mid-90s, churches throughout the country have been declining. As a matter of fact, within our conference alone, the 16 churches that make up the Lower Bucks Conference, a quarter of those churches have become part-time pastorates because the people aren't there. Because the ministry's not there. The resources to do the ministry aren't there. I'm not talking about money necessarily. I'm talking about the people with the heart to do the work of God in the world. This is what's diminishing. We're fighting apathy in our younger people. We're fighting apathy in our middle-aged people. And we're fighting apathy in our older people. What's so offensive about the message of Christ? What's so offensive about the cross? Why would people get offended when we say we're a Christian? It certainly isn't because of what Jesus did. Most likely it's because what Christians did that makes people offended about Christianity. That's usually why people get offended. It's something like 37% of people have a negative view of Christianity. How could you have a negative view of a religion that's supposed to pronounce the love of God for all people? The gospel is clear. God so loved the world that he gave his Son so that all might have life and have it abundantly. God didn't come as Jesus Christ to condemn the world, but so that the world might have life through it. Therefore, when we stand up and wear the cross, not around our necks, but the cross on our forehead from our baptism, when we stand up and wear that cross in the world, are we pronouncing the love of God for all people, at all times, in all places? because that is what we're called to. Yeah, God looked out over creation before you were born and said, I need one of you. I need one of you because only you could live the life that you're going to live. Only you could reach the people in your life that you can reach. I need you to pronounce the good news of Christ's love for the world. And so God created you. And God's been calling you in your life to spread that love, to spread it to all people. Take on the mantle of underdogs if you want. But behind you, you've got a mighty God. You have a mighty God that can accomplish great things in the world and will accomplish them. So preach it loudly. Preach it quietly. Preach it, but preach it in love. In love. Because if it doesn't have to do with love, it doesn't have to do with God. Amen.